Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Genevieve. If you're new here, I'm a book writer, book editor, personal assistant, cat mom, introvert, aspiring full-time vlogger, work part-time in retail, and also clean for 2 relatives. And I'm sure I got that wrong, but you all know by now, if you're not new here, who I am. If you are new here, please let me know who you are down in the comments, and we will have a nice little chat to introduce ourselves. I'm just a laid-back, average human being who enjoys making videos and connecting with people around the world. So that's just who I am. But today we are doing a sit-down video because we are doing the book review of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was our book club pick for the month. Before we get into the thick of everything, there will be spoilers. So if you have not read it and you do not want to be spoiled, do click out of this video. No hard feelings. Watch it later after you are done. And let us know if you agree with everything. This book was fantastic. I devoured this book. There is nothing I can say bad about it except for how long it took for the happy ending to happen. I mean, it wasn't really, I guess you can't really say it's a happy ending because, spoiler alert, she does die in the end, but she lived a long life full of, you know, amazing things, not so amazing things, of course, as well, but she had a very long, amazing life, so it's not like she just dies randomly. But it is a little bit sad, so can't really, I don't know if you can consider it a happy ending or if you can consider it a happy ending to her story and to the other character, the interviewer's story. But that's the whole point of the story, is she's just had an interesting life of marrying 7 different men for varying reasons. Some she loved, some it was manipulation, some it was to cover up a secret, which if you read it, we know that the secret is that she was bisexual and it could not be revealed at the time that she was marrying all these guys and everything, because it just wasn't as openly accepted as it is now. And she met a woman that she considered the love of her life, and they went through all these ups and downs and pitfalls, and they married other guys to cover up their relationship, and just so much impacted in this book that I can't even start to dissect it, and I don't think I want to, because it's like, it's a feeling that you get when you read this book. It's like a mood read. That dissecting it kind of ruins that. The gist of the story is that she was bisexual and she was in love with a woman, but because it wasn't accepted, they had, you know, they broke up, they got back together, they broke up, but they got back together. She married guys to cover it up and to advance her career and all this other stuff. She had a child with one of those guys. And this just, the whole book is just basically telling that backstory. And so if you guys remember when we picked this book in the video that is now archived, the Brandon Sanderson video that is now archived because of rude comments. But anyway, I mentioned how I wasn't sure about this book because I was worried it was going to remind me too much of Interview with a Vampire, which I didn't like because it was a lot of telling and I was bored, and yeah, I could have used more storytelling in Interview with a Vampire than just a guy talking about the past. So I would say this one was a hell of a lot better. The only comparison I can make to Interview with a Vampire for it is that it was way better than that. And if Anne Rice were still alive, I'm sorry to everybody who likes Anne Rice and Interview with a Vampire, and this is nothing against either one or anybody who did like that book. I'm sorry, Lynn, please don't kill me. But yeah, if Anne Rice were still alive, I'd tell her to take notes, because this is how you write a book where somebody is giving an interview. It is not just talking, it's backstory. It, you know, there's chapters in the point of view of the interviewer that we get to learn more about her life and everything. There's a twist in here that I did not see coming, and tell me if you read it, if you guys saw the twist coming with Monique, because way out of left field in my opinion, but so amazing and so well done and tied in that it just all makes sense once you find out, even if you are completely shocked. I just can't say enough good things about this book. It is amazing. I know there is another book in this kind of like world that I haven't really explored much about. I am going to go look into it because I do kind of feel like I want to read it, being that it's in this world and by this author. I feel like I would enjoy it. I'm not sure if it like follows some of the similar characters or not. Like I said, I haven't really looked into it, but I am definitely going to. And now And I like this book so much, I'm not even going to give it back to the book cart at work. I'm going to keep it in my personal stash because it is amazing. And I cannot say enough about it. Taylor Jenkins Reid, if by any chance you're seeing this video, because it is amazing. It's fantastic writing. I like books that are sort of modern but sort of historical. Like this one kind of is both, because it's modern in the way that when she's talking to the interviewer, you know, we're in present day, but then it's historical because it's back in the 50s and forward. So, you know, it's still sort of historical. And I love historical books that delve into topics that were controversial back then, like being bisexual and stuff. So I love that, that kind of dynamic when it comes to historical books. So that definitely was a draw for me. Yeah, just amazing, just amazing. And it also delves quite deeply into Hollywood, which is interesting because we all kind of see Hollywood from the outside, even though sometimes we do get an inside look. It's not ever 100% the truth, I guess you would say. And this is from the perspective of the actual actors and actresses in Hollywood. So it's not like the media, and it's not like the higher up executives or anything. It's the actors and actresses and stuff like that. So it is amazing. And I'd be very interested to hear if the author did like a lot of research into that stuff, because it just seems like she just knew what she was talking about. Like I could really feel the emotions of the actors and actresses and what they were going through, and like lots of times they wanted to quit, or you know, they were dealing with media backlash, stuff like that. And none of it felt fake. None of this book felt fake in the slightest. It all felt like we were just really living through it with the characters, and that's a talent that most, you know, a lot of authors don't have. So again, my complete praise to Taylor Jenkins Reid, because it is an amazing book. It is amazing writing. While there is a lot of dialogue in it, and it just like, it's not really heavy with description, I never felt like I was just listening to people talk. Like there's enough description and enough emotion in it that I feel like it's a lot more showing that it would seem like it is. If you look at the book and you know, and you read a couple of pages, yeah, you're gonna think, oh, it's a lot of talking, a lot of telling. But if you read it as a whole, it's actually not. But I feel like I'm repeating myself. So let me know your comments down below if you read it and what you thought. Perfectly fine if you didn't like it. Tell me that as well. That being said, let's talk about March's book of the month for our book club. This one's a little bit different. I wanted to kind of change it up a little. So if you guys remember in one of my recent videos, actually, I don't know if I published that video, but if I didn't, then I'll tell you about this. But this book is called Sadie by Courtney Summers. And it says, when popular radio personality Wes McCrae receives a desperate phone call from a stranger imploring him to find 19-year-old runaway Sadie Hunter, he's not convinced there's a story there. Girls go missing all the time. But when it's revealed that Sadie fled home after the brutal murder of her little sister Maddie, Wes travels to the small town of Cold Creek, Colorado to uncover what happened. Sadie has no idea that her journey to avenge her sister will soon become the subject of a blockbuster podcast. Armed with a switchblade, Sadie follows meager clues, hoping they'll lead to the man who took Maddie's life, because she's determined to make him pay with his own. But as West traces her path to the darkest, most dangerous corners of big cities and small towns, a deeply unsettling mystery begins to unfold, one that's bigger than them both. Can he find Sadie before it's too late? Alternating between Sadie's unflinching voice as she hunts the killer and the podcast transcripts tracking the clues she's left behind, Sadie is a breathless thriller about the lengths we go to protect the ones we love and the high price we pay when we can't. It will haunt you long after you reach the final page. Truth here, I've already started reading this. I've read the first 3 chapters, and at first I was a little hesitant about the podcast transcripts portions, but actually I really like it because it's not. So when you think about a podcast, you just think about people talking. And if it was like that, yeah, I probably would not be able to get through it. But this podcast is done in a way that, there's interview portions with certain people, you know, connected to the case. And then there's some media coverage and stuff like that. So it's all included in the podcast. So it doesn't really feel like it's just somebody talking. So I am really interested in this. And Sadie is a badass. I love her, and I love that she's 19, so we're getting a younger character here. I love that, you know, she's trying to solve her little sister's murder. There's just so much involved in even the first couple of chapters. I'm very much intrigued by this already, and I hope you guys are gonna like it. I hope you join me in reading it, and we'll talk about it at the end of March and see what we think. And it's only a little over 300 pages, and with the podcast transcripts done in the way they are, it's pretty big type and it's pretty spaced out, so it's not really over 300 pages, honestly. So I think it's going to be somewhat of a quick read, and I am definitely looking forward to it. It won an award, so, you know, high praise. And yeah, good luck, y'all. Enjoy your March. We'll see you at the end with the review of Sadie.